Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. A few weeks ago I was using the book treat boxes and I made a few projects with that, really simple ones, and I said I was saving one for when the sophisticated sled was coming back in stock, and it did. So this bundle right here with the sled, we've had a sled before, so if you have that already, that's great. You can use this idea for that. If you don't have a sled, this is a really good one. It's an online exclusive, so I'm not sure how long they're gonna have it. It's not in a catalog. So I wanted to use the skates with this box. And let me show you the inside. So the inside is like a little shadow box scene. I got this on this side. This is the back. But it's just like a little scene. I've got some cotton in here and the sled and the skates, and it's really fun. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. Now in my last video, which I'll link below, part 1, I had several different ways to close the box instead of just gluing it down forever, because that's no fun. So including one like this, where there's a notch and you slide that in. In this one, I'm going to do a different closure where it's going to slide in this part here. So the first step we need to do is cover all the box with the paper, and I'll do this sped up a little bit in high speed motion because you might already have watched the first video and you already know how to do this part. But basically you want 3x4 inch pieces, and you'll have one that's smaller for the inside, and then you're going to need some 1x4 pieces for the binding. This is with the Winter Meadow paper, which I love. So the boxes are very sturdy and they go together easily. There's 2 pieces in there, and I think you get 10 boxes, and it already has the adhesive on it, which is great. So that just comes up and around and glues down, and they're super, super sturdy. And then this is the book treat box area. So it goes like so, like that. All right, so we need to cover this with the paper. This is going to be the front. So I will do one and then high speed the rest of it. So you want the glue close to it, close to the edges, and you're going to need to trim just the outside corners because they have a little round, see, a little, so we're just going to trim that out just a little bit. Forgot, before you glue the back side on, do this little tongue thing because you want to cover this part up. So I forgot about that. So do that and then trim that off. Okay, so that's all covered. You don't have to do this back panel, but I do like it kind of peeking out around it. It makes it feel a little bit more finished. All right, let's start with the top or the front. So this is where I'm going to show you a few tips on how to put the skates together right here and this closure. So I used my Country Corners dies for these pieces here, and then just layered it with some Misty Moonlight. Now, that's going to go on here. But we want to make sure that this closure works well right here. So we want to have an idea where the tape is going to go, okay? So this kind of goes in the center. This is the back side where we're going to put the tape. We can even stick this in here just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, that's going to be the size. So this comes around, and you want to get your glue all around here, but avoid that part so this slides in. And I like the tear and tape for that. So just bring your tear and tape right, not too close, but close enough to it on each side so that you're gonna have a pocket right there, okay? Just like that. So we kind of have an idea where the tape is gonna go. Hope that makes sense. You could draw it with a pencil, you know, something like that, but you want a really strong tape. And I find that glue, when it dries, can be still a little sticky. So the problem with the glue is it can bleed out, and then this gets sticky, and then it's just not going in very well. So Now we need to wait a minute before we put this on, and there's a reason, because we got to tie these up and through. If you want your skates hanging like this, there's a secret. So, there's a little tip. So this is what we're gonna do. First, we assemble the skates. Aren't they cute? I mean, seriously, so cute. So what's cool about these dies is there's a little slit right here. Right there is a little slit. And the little laces that are cut with the dies, I did these in navy, these just slide right in to that little slit. You need to get your fingers warmed up for this one. Okay, because we're gonna hang the skates, I'm gonna trim off the little bow right there because the laces are actually hanging, so I'm gonna trim that off. So on the back of that, I'm going to put a dimensional, and that's gonna hold that together, okay? So I'm doing the same thing on this one. Turn like that. Itty bitties. This is not a project you're gonna get done in 20 minutes. This is for somebody special. Now you're gonna need 3 pieces that are 8 inches each of some twine that match your laces. That's why I did navy, because I had navy. One of them, we're gonna cut that in half into 2 4-inch pieces. That is going to be what hangs, oopsie, let me take the back of that off. That's gonna be what hangs the laces, okay? So this is gonna be the 2 sets of laces coming out from the boot. So the little 4-inch piece, bend it in half, and we're gonna stick that on the back of the dimensional here, right there. There's your 2 laces that are hanging. So on here, we have the little foliage, okay, that I cut in garden green, and that's gonna go right up here. I got that on with a glue dot. Then you want a hole punch. This is 1/8 inch, I think. And somewhere up here, you need to punch a hole. And then we can put these little guys on. So this one, let's do this one here. And then this one down here. Oh, I forgot to put the silver part on the skate. Okay, here, like that. Here's the silver skate that cuts out, that goes on the bottom of that. You want a good fine tip glue. I bought this one recently on Amazon because it had really good reviews. It dries fast and it dries clear but not glossy. And it's called Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. It came with a teeny little point, so I thought I'd try it. So far, I really like it. It's a pretty good value. All right, so the silver skates I cut in foil, of course, so that goes right there. Now, we just gotta feed these through that little hole right there. It's not too bad, but it has to go through there like it's gonna be hanging, okay? See, up and through the hole. So back here where I put that sticky strip, we can just push that down on it like that. And then now the second one, we need to do that. And then with the other 2 pieces of twine, we're gonna make the bow. And we're gonna make them a double bow because it would look funny being a single bow because these are supposed to be tied, right? So if we're trying to make them look a little realistic, that's our next step. Now this goes back down into the center of the front. Now we can glue this down right there. We've left enough room in there so that will close. Right, and then the last 2 pieces, 8 inches each, put those together and tie a bow. So you tie them both at once, like that, okay? Not too big, not too small. And we're gonna put that on with a glue dot. You know, you gotta kind of pinch the glue dot so you can't see it. And that goes right over the hole. And then it looks like you've actually tied the skates on. And then we add our bling and little things like that later. I did these little foamy snowflakes that we have right now. These are wonderful. Get them because they are foamy, so they will not break through the mail. So they're flexible. So even if they go through the mail sorter on a card, they will be good. All right, so that part is done. Now the inside here, on this one, I just have the wreath that I use from the bundle and the same sentiment from the bundle. I got that ready to go. Another one of the Country Corners bundles in Misty Moonlight. You could also do the Blueberry Bushel because there's a lot of blueberry in here, but I found it too bright. So I'm just going back to this. The Sentiment, which I stamped in the Misty Moonlight, right there. And then a little silver bow right here that I glued on with a little silver cord. All right, and then I'll just show you the back side. On the back side, I used the same stamp set from the Sophisticated Sled, a little glitter paper, and I'm actually gonna move the cardinal to the back side on my one in here. You'll see why. Okay, now we can work on the inside, which is the most fun part. Okay, so remember I said this one is a little bit smaller. The measurements are in the description below. You can click the link to go get the PDF for all the measurements. But, you know, there's a little, you know, you just gotta cut it down enough that it fits in there nicely. It's in the bottom. Okay, now let's work on the sled. There's a few things with the sled that are interesting. Now in the bundle, let me show you the stamp set here. So this is the stamp set. There's the stamps. You can cut these out individually. So the stamp set has the snowflakes and a lot of sentiments, the cardinal, the sled, and all of that. So if you wanted to, you could stamp the sled and cut that out. That's the little swag there. And the greenery that I showed you earlier, we're going to use that on the inside. There's a set of skates if you want to cut those out all at once and color them and do whatever with them. But there's this die that cuts out the base of the sled, and this one, which can cut out the wood part like this. So you could have, if you wanted to have like a black base, let's say, like this is what I did out of the darker foil, you could do that with a red sled and the little red handle. Okay, or you can do it in wood like I did for this card. Now when I was growing up, my sled had a red base and it was enamel. So what I did on this one, and I don't think you can tell, I embossed it with Versamark and clear powder because I just thought that made it look enamel and pretty cool. So I Versamarked the whole thing and then dumped it in some clear embossing powder and then heated it with my heat tool. Dump it out and then just heated it, and it gives it that really cool red metal enamel look. Now, will the person who gets this know that it is? I don't know, maybe. If they might look. Not much of it shows, I'm aware, but I still, for me, I like it. So I did mine in crumb cake and then just drew a marker along it just to kind of accentuate those lines a little bit. Get another little glue dot. That's going to go right in the center up here. And then same thing here, just kind of play around with where you want that to be. That looks about right. I just put the glue dots down the center line here, just enough so it sticks right there. If you want to tack it down better, you can, but there's other stuff going on here, so it didn't seem like overkill, you know, but look how cute that is. First thing is we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals, and you want to give it a good amount of lift. And you know, I love these dimensional sheets because you can make them in any size that you want. I don't want to see through it, so I'm going to do a couple strips here. And actually, we want to do a double layer of this. We want it to really pop out. So I'm going to go one right here in the center. Hopefully I can't, so I can see through it. That was a little too wide. Let me cut it down a little bit. All right, that's better. We're gonna go one and then one more to really make it stand out. And two, all right. Now, this is what's gonna break your heart. It doesn't fit exactly. So you're gonna have to cut it down a little bit. This was hard. Because I was like, no! I didn't want to cut the sled. But you have to make it really look great and fit in there well. Okay, so I'm going to lean it in just a little bit like that. Okay, so it's kind of leaning. And now we do the snow. One cotton ball is what you need, broken up a little bit. That seems to be just the right amount. And use a good amount of glue in here. I squiggled a whole bunch of glue right in here. Liquid glue seems to work the best. So I've got quite a bit of glue in there, and now I'm just going to add in my snow. You can take some out if it's too much. You don't want a blizzard. You just want a little bit in here, tucked in around the corners. That's kind of cool. On this one, I went back a little bit too far, and I ended up putting some glitter paper back here because my edge was showing. So I decided I just wanted to do that a little bit. And then, if you have it, a little glitter looks great. Why we don't sell our Dazzling Diamonds anymore, I don't know. But I'm putting a little glue on the top and then adding a pinch of glitter. I just think it looks great. There you go. And then you can just knock out the excess. I mean, it's a little Christmas box. Like, you need glitter. All right, next thing we need to do is add this little bow and the bells. I have another one of these guys that I cut from the dies right there, just to add the little greenery back there. And then I'm gonna add some bells. Now, a few years ago, we had these little jingle bells. They're pretty easy to find online. Silver bells, we carried them, Stampin' Up! Carried them a few years back, and I had some left, and I just wanted bells on it. So I had to use my needle threader, but I got it on the red and white twine. It was not easy, but if you have the needle threader thing, it works great. So I did 3. So go see if you have some bells or something. If you don't, just add more greenery. It just needed the bells. I know we don't carry them right now, but I'm hoping you might have some. All right, a little bow right here, and then a glue dot, and that's gonna go right on there. Again, I know it's fiddly, but it's gonna be so worth it. Now tie this off where you want it. Tie these off, make a little knot, trim off the excess, and then do that with your finger. It makes it just kind of all frayed, which I like. All right, so we're getting there. Now we need the skates on the inside. On this one, I did the blueberry bushel. Is it okay? Is it too bright? I don't know. This time I did the Misty Moonlight just to see. But you need 2 layers of the dimensional back here for this one, because we really want it to pop out more. So that's gonna go here. And you see this one has a little bow on it because we don't need to hang those, right? So that's gonna go here. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then we need our little sentiment. I'm doing this little good tidings on the inside and cutting it apart. Now on this one, I am gonna do it in red and see how that looks. So I just stamped this on white in the red, and I'm just gonna cut it out by hand because I kind of like that look. Just like that. I'm gonna try it in red and see, since I'm not gonna do the cardinal on the inside this time. Little dimensionals on the back of this one. Right. And honestly, add the bling, add all the things inside, because it really makes a difference when you look back here and you see the snowflakes, you see some rhinestones. Look, there's little snowflakes I glued right here. So it just really makes a difference to add a few of those extra little things. And you know, the end of the glue is always, the glue tip is always a little sticky, so I just use that to pick these up. They come in 3 different sizes, which is nice. And this glue seems to hold pretty well. And the rhinestones, of course. We want to make sure we have lots of rhinestones inside there also. Now we need to add this to the back. So I put some of that tear and tape back here, the really good sticky stuff back here. A couple strips in the middle. And that's going to hold our box. Get that centered in there just right. There we go. Push that down. Now what's nice about this is smaller and in the center, so that this will still close just right. And then this tucks right in here where we left that space, right there. Okay. I do like a little handle here for them so they know how to open it. And it's pretty, so just a piece of that very pretty mesh silver ribbon, just so they know how to open it. But I was thinking about back here is where I would put the cardinal. I think I would put him back here because I think it's a sweet little surprise at the end, or in here somewhere. You decide. I think I like the red repeating 3 times, the sled here and here. I think I like that a lot. I think I like it without the cardinal here, and then to put him in the back. So I think that's what I'll do for the photos. Oh, thanks for hanging with me. I know this was a long one, but it's so worth it. Make one. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.